Many countries are victims of their own inflicted wounds because they abuse their own social contract. In Kenya, national identity is challenged. Every time there is an election, there is a question of national identity. People go back to tribal enclaves. They antagonize other tribes because of lack of a social contract. In countries like Tanzania, which have social contract, elections are held. They could have problems, but they still don't go the way they go in Kenya. I'm today looking at the social contract as the center, the epic center of every organization, every nation. 40 years ago, China did not have a social contract. They went back to the drawing table and had a social contract. They said, we have a population, ballooning population. We need to do something to change the course of our direction. The direction of China was changed after the death of Mao Zedong, who had actually taken a communist strata to the highest level. Today, China has sprung up, has become one of the superpowers with a lot of monetary muscle. It lends to us, Africa. It gives us money for our bridges, our roads, our buildings, our stadiums, our hospitals. It gives us a direction, a hope that a country can go back and retain a social structure. Kenya, therefore, does not have a social structure. It has a social structure on paper, but not a social structure in practice. What can we do to have a social contract? A social contract is very important between the people and the government. The people in Kenya mutilate their own government. The people in Kenya eat their own president. The people in Kenya insult their own president. The people in Kenya belittle their own president. The people in Kenya don't tell the truth about what the government has done. But the people in Kenya expect the government to deliver some of the things, even those that they have delivered, they don't mention them. Therefore, it is time, and it's high time, that Kenya looked at what ails it. Is it the social contract, the lack of it, implementation of the social contract, of national unity? The question of national unity is very, very important. It is part of the tenets of social contract. Has Kenya risen to that level where national unity surpasses every type of agenda one would have? I think we haven't. And I think the time has come now, and it is now, that the social contract in Kenya comes in first to avoid the pitfalls that we have today in our elections. If we had a good social contract, people would not shift from one party to the other. People should not fix agreements. People should not talk about a memorandum that was written in darkness. People would not think of the memorandum broken down, but they would think of honesty, courage, determination, and above all, character. A social contract does not come without character. How many people in Kenya can resign once named out of something that a train has crashed? A plane has crashed. A plane left passengers of Kenya with the Minister of Transport resigns. A train collided with another train. The minister in charge of transport goes away. How many people in Kenya are charged with corporate manslaughter? We have buildings collapsing. The owners are left free. Yet when they were building it, they knew that it would collapse. Do we really have a social contract in Kenya? It is on paper. What else can sum up all this? The elections that we have. Today, why we have the problems, the biggest problem of even selecting a running mate is because we don't have a social contract. If we had a social contract, each candidate would know who would be the best person to choose from and where to choose from. It would not be the question of regions. It would not be, if we will not choose from here, then here will not vote for. It will not be that once I'm from the north, I cannot serve those from the south. That is the social contract. It will not be that once you are Raila, you are not liked. You cannot be sold in a certain part of the country. It will not be that I have got to go home first and get my troops ready, then come out to fight. Everybody in Kenya would be fighting on the same platform. And that platform is the social contract. The earlier we get the social contract, the earlier we get it, the better for us, for the people of East Africa and Africa at large. Most African countries, very few, have secured a social contract. Namely, South Africa, Tanzania to some extent, Ghana to some extent, Egypt to some extent, Algeria to some extent, Tunisia to some extent, Morocco, yes, they have a social contract. In most of those countries mentioned, you can move and remove a government and there will be nothing. They will come and say you have to go. Not very many African countries have social contracts. Kenya has a social contract on paper, but this social contract collapses every time there is an election. Election becomes the powder keg in the gun that brings conflict. Thank you.
A strong commitment to boosting domestic manufacturing, President Uhuru Kenyatta has launched several flagship manufacturing projects under the Big Four agenda. The blend of manufacturing projects launched by the president cut across various manufacturing subsectors, including agro-processing, pharmaceutical industry, textile and leather industries, vehicle assembly, iron and steel, ICT, as well as oil, mining and gas industry. Among some of the key manufacturing projects that President Uhuru Kenyatta has recently launched and which are aimed at contributing significantly to job creation include the 4 billion Kenya shillings worth light weapons manufacturing plant at Ruto, the plant which has estimated production capacity of 12,000 assault rifles is poised to source up to 60% of its raw materials locally, creating a huge market for domestic producers. In April 2021, President Uhuru Kenyatta presided over the launch of nanotechnology and semiconductor manufacturing facility at Dedan Kimathi University. Kenya's maiden entry into the nanotechnology industry underscored the president's grand foresight for the country. According to the industry insiders, global semiconductor and nanotechnology industry is bound to increase multiple-fold in the next few years as demand for artificial intelligence continues to grow exponentially.
This is going to be the future for us to be able to now make our own motherboards, and from making our own motherboards to making our own television sets, to making our own mobile telephones. These are all new opportunities that are all going to be created from this seemingly very small but very critical foundation towards our manufacturing agenda for our republic.
Also significant in a series of manufacturing projects launched by President Uhuru Kenyatta is opening of the Kenya Shipyard Limited in Kisumu City. The president officially opened the ship building and repair yard in May 2021. The facility has yards both in Kisumu and Mombasa and is expected to ramp up building of new ships and repair of the existing ones to cope up with the demands for water transport within the Great Lakes region. The facility is also expected to create direct and indirect jobs to the local populations. Both bilateral and public-private partnerships remains vital in ensuring Kenya achieves its manufacturing growth goals as projected in the Big Four agenda, and Kenyans should continue supporting these flagship projects as they portend a better social-economic growth now and in the future.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the political command center, wherever I am today, this morning. Thank you very much. Events in the continent of Africa put us through different directions, and global events also take us different directions. This morning, Good Morning Africa is going to look at several factors well lined down, and then later on we shall discuss many other facets of our politics, economy, social life, manifesto, headlines. Miriam is going to be with us, the chief host of this show from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much. Good morning, Miriam.
A very good morning to you, and indeed a very good morning to our viewers. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where they're tuned in and watching us today.
In case you want to join us, don't hesitate to join us. We have all the communication gadgets and the routes for joining us. You can join us on Zoom, and we shall allow you to come on the platform to talk many things that you want to talk that concern you, one or two topics that has concerned you. This morning, we have a lot of well-organized bad news, good news. Mitumba still trending. People still don't want the reality in Africa. I told you, Miriam, that if you want to die very fast, come to Africa and start talking the truth. You will be killed faster than even lightning. So here, people don't want the truth. Mitumba brings disease. Mitumba has effects. Mitumba also has no recycling moment. Why do you recycle other people's recycled materials? That's the point that we want to make. Why don't you grow the cotton? It doesn't add any value for cloth to be rotten. It doesn't rot. The cloth doesn't rot in the ground to make manure. But if you grow cotton, the husks from the cotton, from the coffee, they become a product and they are used elsewhere as fertilizers. So why do you bring Mitumba here, which will not add value apart from a commercial value, which again becomes overridden by disease? Yes, most people don't know why they are. You see, before Miriam comes in, the my opener is, today we are embalming people with chemicals. And we are sinking them to the grave. We Christians are doing that. These chemicals are affecting our land, our soil. Where do these chemicals go? Why are we talking about too many diseases coming? Too many diseases have come because we have the way things have changed. When I grew up, you are simply, very few people were buried. or were kept in a freezer for 20 months. But what are you putting in the freezer? You are putting a dead body with chemicals that are affecting, that you are taking to the soil. And the soil has plants. Plants grow from the soil. Then you go and eat apple. Apple has got those chemicals. Are you seeing where we are, why things are going wrong? We have allowed a lot of undertakers, parlors to grow mushroom. They make money. But we are making money at the expense of natural ecosystems. Muslims, the rate of death in those Muslim countries seem to be different from us Christian countries. Time has come for us, especially in Africa, where we even make cement tiles. There is something to shine on the grave. These are chemicals. Miriam, did you know that? These are chemicals you are sinking. You are putting a grave to look like a sitting room. On top, you are putting marble. I saw it when I was burying my brother recently in Uganda. They quoted us 80 million shillings. No, 12 million shillings of Uganda money for final touches. $80 million shillings. You are killing the ecosystems, Medium. So, think again, 20 years to come. Where are those graves? Where are those chemicals? Where do they go? They go to the food we eat. Have you realized that? You go to the gym every day. You are very small. Now let's look. There are people who die of heart attack these days when they are very small like this. And they are in the gym from morning up to evening. Saying, I'm well organized. A friend of mine said, come and play tennis. He was found on the tennis court. People stayed for 4 hours thinking he was still playing. The tennis racket was still there like that in the hand, but he had fallen and he had died. So he was an ambassador in New York. People are small, but they have very terrible diseases. People are big, they have terrible diseases. Some of these diseases come from the food we eat, which is the soil. Look at the soil. Because we are pumping too many chemicals in the soil, Miriam. Thank you very much. That is what I thought I can bring up to the update. Mitumba for me, Matanga, I've said, I'm sorry. If I find somebody in my house wearing it, I will just run away from them. It's their problem because you don't know where it came from, who was having it, what disease he was wearing. Why are you taking Brazilian hair on your head? What chemicals have been used by the Brits to manufacture it into a hair to sell $2 million? 1 million hair on your head, like Mrs. Paul Beer. Her hair is 1 million. But it was made of chemicals, it's not natural hair. If you go to the India where people go to buy hair and see how that hair reaches there, it's not manufactured from plants. You wouldn't have your wife or your child or your daughter putting that hair on your head and pass through you and you share the same dining. Go to India and see where they manufacture this hair. Go to the India or Google that factory and see the process. Where do they get this hair? It's coming from dead people. They have cut it from Indians who died. People have started selling kidneys. They have started selling all sorts of things that are happening today. So we have to be very, very careful, candid. I have, if I were Raila Odinga, if I'm to lose votes, because I have talked about Mitumba. Election is not a matter of death. Raila is not going to die because he has lost an election. No, if you want to lead the people to lies like a Ruto leads the people to lies, he tells lies every day to get votes. Raila is not that type. Tell the truth. It's better to promote a Kikoi factory, a Kitenge factory in Eldoret, in Nakuru. That's why Ruto has no intention of developing this country with factories, but he has intention of exploiting this country. That's why he has got an ambition to take a factory in Uganda, but not in Kenya. So why should you vote to a man who wants to develop to develop Sudan? He has factories in DRC, in Congo Brazzaville, farms who are employed in Congo Brazzaville, who are employed in Zambia where he has farms. The Zambian economy is earning from his money that he has stolen from Kenya and invested there. Kwambiane ukweli. Kwambiane ukweli. Good morning, Miriam. Back to you in the studio as I also read down for my news from this side of international nature. Good morning.
All right, Doc, a very good morning to you. And I think for some of these, agendas we have as a country and some of these goals and dreams we have as a country, should we really come to realize it, then some drastic measures must be taken. If we were to really make manufacturing something that contributes to the economy of this country and employs people and Kenyans get to benefit and build Kenya, buy Kenya, becomes a reality, then some of these matters we have to speak about and see how we can evolve and move forward as a country. But anyway, before we get too deep in that conversation, let me bring you up to date with the latest by going through the headlines this morning. We start with the Daily Nation and the main headline: Ruto, Raila, power sharing headache. Game of Thrones, Raila's cabinet has already taken shape even before the first ballot is cast, while Ruto is surrounded by an overtly ambitious lot that demands the spoils of proximity to him should he ascend to power. Forget the polls. The real test of mettle comes after the victory. The story is on page 12 and 13. Kitoni, growing up with Moi, I think the lady who was for a long time at the helm of Maendeleo Wanawake, Zipporah Kitoni, her stories there on page 2 and 3. Day of drama as aspirants seek IEBC nod. Also, that is on page 6. No, I will not ban Mitumba, says Raila. The story is on page 8. Okay. And we go on to the Star newspaper, the main headline: Raila's pledges to cost 400 billion Kenya shillings annually. Kanini Kega says the agenda is viable given Kenya loses billions every year to corruption. That is on page 4 and 5. Parental fights turn children into bullies, says Ministry of Health. The story is on page 3. So if the mother and father keeps fighting at home, they become very poor role models, and their children copy that and become bullies, and they try to fight with others out there. And that is a report by the Ministry of Health. Okay, so Ruto's UDA writes to NIS after Kibicho claimed Raila leads by 60%. That is on page 2, and how the academic degree question turned into a nightmare for big guns. That is on page 6. Lawmakers want EACC to probe 119 million Kenya shillings tenders come at NHC. Okay, and then the Standard newspaper: NIS secrets, Ruto takes on Kibicho. UDA wants NIS complaints board to probe Interior PS Karanja Kibicho for abuse of national intelligence to advance partisan political agenda. The PS was quoted claiming that NIS reports showed Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate would secure a 60% first round win in August poll. The story is on page 4 and raised down to 4. Take your pick. And of course, the 4 who have been cleared are there. And MPs push up debt ceiling to 10 trillion Kenya shillings. The story is on page 11. And Mitumba trade the good, the bad, and the ugly. That is on page 4, 6, and 7. And blame game over dollar shortage. That is on page 30. So that is what we have on the leading newspapers this morning. Doc, back to you.
Thank you very much, Miriam, and thank you very much, viewers, listeners across the continent of Africa. and in Africa, those watching us, we come to the crunch, and let me go for the international, regional, and international newspapers. The Observer newspaper from Uganda says the state of poverty in Uganda. Yesterday, President Museveni gave a State of the Nation address and told Ugandans that Uganda is now in the middle income earner, earning $1,026 each one. So Ugandans were asking, which is equivalent to about 3 million to 4 million shillings of Uganda. So several Ugandans online were asking, which one is this money? Where is it? If you call anybody in Uganda to say, you are now middle income earner with that amount, is it there? Is it in the people's pocket? Is it in the house? I was watching another program from Uganda yesterday, and the people were asking, if one of the panelists asked the other, let's go outside to our petrol station, to our cars, and get a tape measure to sink into the tanks and see who has got a full tank. So the argument was, Miriam, serious. That is the poverty, the state of poverty in Uganda. Whereas Uganda has attained a middle income earner country, which must be sustained for 3 years. If not, it returns to a struggling country. They showed pictures of mud houses, people living in very poor conditions, and then high end of life where you have a toilet, where there is no toilet. One of the things that I can profess, and I say the truth, is that I left Uganda when there was no water in my compound. Today, Miriam, we have piped water in our compound, in tapped water in a compound. That one is a movement, definitely, which we have to laud the government. On that one, they have done very well. They have used the levels, what I call what is the level water, the water being pulled by levels, Miriam. That water is the one that the gravity water, yes.
Okay.
Museveni has pulled gravity water using gravity.
One that you work out and then it draws water from the well.
No.
Boreholes or tapped water.
Not boreholes. It is just pulled by. There's a word, not gravity. Yes, by gravity, from down to up, it goes. You know, have you noticed that if you put a tube in the petrol station tank, have you seen that the petrol comes out, or the diesel? You can take diesel from one tank to the other. That is gravity.
So that is gravity water. Okay, I'm sure there's a better term for it. I'll think about it. But I understand what you're saying.
No, but it is something like that because our place is mountainous.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
It's mountainous and the man pulled water. There's water everywhere, in the home, everywhere. There's even power nearby. We have power, we have what? Those are some, but there are certain areas where there is extreme poverty. So they have drawn pictures of toilets, latrines, and then high-end Muyenga homes and other paradise homes like Irunda and Karen. Yes. So Daily Monitor said Uganda announces huge gold deposits. Oh my God. Then we have another problem there. Gold has been found in the state of the nation. Museveni has said there is huge deposits of gold that have been found in Uganda, most likely around the Karamoja area where several troops have been amassed on the Karamoja side of Uganda. Uganda has pulled several thousands of troops. Whether they are for the security of Karamoja, we live to see what happens, because there was some insecurity that had come and Uganda started crying war, saying there were some people from Turkana coming to steal their cows. So are these troops now being sent there to curb these Karamojongs, these Turkana people, in case there are some people stealing cows? will he pursue them up to Capedo Triangle? So we need to see how it is defending its territory from these thugs who have started stealing and killing people as far as my district. That is a story in the Daily Monitor. The story in the New Vision is the story that I've talked to you. Uganda attains middle income status. Museveni says at the moment, the middle income status Uganda is in, each one has got $1,026. Each person, that's where we are. But people are asking, where is the money? Where is the money? That is the question. The opposition did not attend the State of the Nation address because they said it was the usual language of telling us about the Bachese Empire and the Tutsi Empire, how it conquered this. So I had the opposition. I'm not in Uganda, and therefore it has no much interest for me. Churches talks, thrust, escalates. That is daily news in Zimbabwe. The churches are trying, as they launch stakeholders campaign in Harare. The churches in Zimbabwe want to bring people together like President Uhuru Kenyatta did to Raila Odinga before and the next election, so that people don't divide it and kill each other. The Herald of Zimbabwe says EU Zimbabwe re-engagement moves a year up. I hope so. While some other countries are muting with the EU, but Britain is muting to put more sanctions because of the, at the moment EU is on its own. So it takes decisions not from Britain following what Britain has done. But on the mainland Britain, it remains a nightmare for this country, Zimbabwe. US $90 per ton incentive for early grain delivery. That is very good. You see, these are some of the things, Miriam, that can bring food security. If you give incentives of say, if any farmer who can now go to the village and create 10 granaries, and the staff will get a present, will get an additional bonus. This can get food coming very fast. People spoil food. There is food being thrown in the villages across the Kenya, and yet there are Kenyans who don't have food. The independent of Prime Minister is warned strong. Prime Minister is warned strongman act will backfire with M. Yes, Prime Minister is warned strongman act will backfire with MPs. If it goes on with macho man. The Guardian, Torah MPs plot vote strikes to keep Johnson on ropes. This guy is not yet out of this thing yet. They are on him because he did something that he could not do in British history, and he survived. You tell people to wear masks and then you go and have a dance. Their people are strict. They are very, very strict. And then the Telegraph, Johnson argued to make Hunt Chancellor. Now the backbenchers are now saying change from Mr. Patel, who is not Patel. There is another, the one seated near, what is his name? Because the Patel, the Ugandan, is not here. She's the minister for the minister, Jeremy Hunt, has been so much wanting to take this leadership. And the minister of the chancellor is a person from Leicester, where all Ugandan MPs, another one, Ugandan MPs, but this one doesn't this time come from us, from my place. This one comes from another part of Uganda, maybe Kampala, where they used to be there. They went to they went to Oxford, they went to Cambridge, they went to University of Canterbury, they went to London School of Economics. These guys did not go and sit down. They went to study. And here they are getting those jobs. And they are the people, the generation that is coming out. Don't be shocked that Rome is not the real Rome that we saw during the days of Emperor Nero. It's different. So the Telegraph says Johnson urged to make Hunt Chancellor. I don't know, the backbenchers are still on Johnson. The Punch of Nigeria, drama color as APC holds primary. There is also chaos there while others are dying. These guys are busy holding their primaries. And with Buhari, I can see Buhari with the ladies. These people can wear so nicely. The medium, have you not seen that? Let's have that picture of that one of the Punch.
It's there.
The colorful wearing, you know, they wear so expensively while the other Nigerians are suffering. Can you see what happens in the world? This world is not my home. I am just passing through. So that is exactly. The Guardian consensus and fails 14 aspirants on ballot for APC presidential ticket. So there even consensus of Ruto failed. I wish they borrowed the Ruto. They asked Kenya can lend them Ruto to go and negotiate the consensus of buying some candidates out. And there is also, you can see Buhari with the wife, First Lady, I think, yes, if I'm not mistaken. They wear so expensively, you know. These are very expensive clothes. But people are suffering. People are suffering, Miriam. Look at that. Nigeria is falling to pieces. Nigeria is falling to pieces. Yesterday we saw that. So those are the news across the continent of Africa. Start us off with Miriam directing me on us to discuss this thing openly.
So we will start with the headline on the Standard newspaper, because I think this is a matter of national interest. And the Deputy President, William Ruto's UDA party, claims the Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho is using the national intelligence to campaign for Azimio la Umoja. The party yesterday wrote to the Intelligence Service Complaint Board protesting what it calls abuse of intelligence reports by Dr. Kibicho. Through its lawyers, the party decried the utterances attributed to the PS on the eve of Madaraka Day, where the PS reportedly claimed that reports by NIS showed the Azimio candidate would secure a first-round win in the August 9th elections with 60% of the vote. Particularly, it is the duty of the Director General of NIS to put in place mechanisms and systems to prevent disclosure of classified information, thus ensuring that no circumstances arise where such information is deployed outside the constitutional and statutory frameworks, as well as established guidelines and protocols, says lawyer Elias Mitumba in the letter dated June 7th. So the complainant is aggrieved by reckless and negligent release of NIS reports or polling information for use by PS Interior to advance the interest and cause of the Azimio party and to undermine the confidence of Kenyans in the fairness of the presidential electoral process. I think Kibicho said this, and then I think the next day UDA's side, Kenya Kwanza side, came out and the Deputy President himself said, no, that is not true. The reports say that we are 8% ahead of Azimio. So if Kibicho is wrong in using that report, but DP also used the same by telling us, no, that's wrong, this is what is happening. So he sort of did the same thing. But is Kibicho wrong in sharing this kind of information with the public?
First of all, Miriam, let me begin by telling you that Kibicho, the DP used national NSIS report, not NS, not NIS. Ruto was mischievous. I want to tell you why. And I want Kenyans to listen to me. And I hope it will make my takeaway later on. Kenyans, listen to me. Ruto has spoiled the population, planted blood, bad blood, confusion, poison in the population. Ruto has planted bad blood in the economy and said there is a bottom-up policy that he will create. Miriam, Ruto has planted bad blood among the youth, among the border, among the mama mboga. The only institutions that are left in Kenya, and I want you people to listen to me very carefully. The only institutions that are left in Kenya are security institutions that are not where Ruto had failed and has failed to penetrate. He claims to have intelligence, some people giving him intelligence. Yes, because by virtue of having been a deputy president on paper, some information is shared to him. But now, before we make any analysis, let's look at what prompted Ruto to come the way he has come now. 4 years of campaign. The value of your money is not seen in the mountain, is not holding anymore. Among all the candidates, you are the only one who chooses a man. Even when some women had gone to buy their clothes in readiness for the ceremony. Because we know very well that Alice Wahome is a very poor dresser. At least, a very poor dresser. She doesn't even look after herself properly. I don't know how she convinces the husband, but that is, love is in the hands of, the eyes of the beholder. But she had bought suits. She was seen arranging suits in preparation to be named as a running mate. That's why you see at the moment, Miriam, some of the Mount Kenya people are not with, are not campaigning with Mr. Rigathi. They are campaigning on their own. Now, Ruto's problem seems to be the following. And I want to make it very categorical, Miriam, so that you can ask me questions where it is possible. Why is it coming now? I'm going to ask more of questions than why now? Is Ruto so desperate? Or has he lost the numbers he claimed he had in the mountain? Or the ground has shifted in Mount Kenya? That's a question. Question number 2. Is Ruto preparing a ground for violence in Kenya by attacking security and intelligence agencies? Question number 3. Is Ruto trying to trigger his plan B of going to the bush in Western Kenya or Kapedo Triangle? We have to be candid, Jamen. We have to be candid. Because Ruto told us we have plan B. The biggest problem that you know what? The biggest problem that you, Miriam, and other people forget, you don't forget because you have the records. Ruto said, hakuna mtu anaweza kuiba kura yangu. Tuko na plan B, you have to make sure that the kura is not stolen. Has Ruto's servers been discovered in a country X that has made him? Last week, Ruto said his voters, how did he have voters? Let's argue like people before this election. We see already a group of all the people he sponsored were technically knocked out by Wachebukati. You know, all those guys who were there were being paid by Ruto's payroll. Ekuro Ekot had no money to raise 20,000, 2 million, 1 million signatures. He confessed. We have a record. I think Stephen should read when we tried to bring could record transcripts, even the meetings, even the pictures. When he was meeting the IEBC, you have those records there, Miriam.
And it's interesting, Doc, that he could collect 1 million voters for Punguza Mzigo, but he could not collect 48,000 voters.
Exactly. Thank you very much. The current court could collect 1 million voters, but he cannot collect 48,000 voters.
For his presidential bid.
Why?
Yeah.
He wants to disrupt this election. Where does he come from? You know. Nanok, where does he come from? You know. The campaigns of UDA are going to concentrate between now and next week, and there will not be people down there. People will be up in the north, in Turkana, in Kapedo, in those areas of Western Kenya and Northeastern. Yesterday you saw what happened in Garissa. We have to be very candid. There are movements. We also have satellite systems that see what is going on in the region. That region of Kapedo Triangle plus the Turkana. Who are these who are going to smuggle, who are stealing cows purportedly from Uganda? Tuambiane ukweli, have we arrested any of them? If they have been arrested, where are they kept? In which custody? Tuambiane ukweli. Ruto wants to trigger his plan B. The ground is shaky. The money is gone. No more money. No more facilitation. The money that they collected from the payments of cards and those who are using their card party is dwindling. Harun Ayadin is gone. The biggest investor, whom we are told is an investor. Harun Ayadin did not appear anywhere in the 200 delegation of Turkish top investors and industrialists who visited Kampala 1 month ago. His name was missing. He could not be issued with a visa to return to Uganda. What is the problem? Ruto's problem can be placed on those 3 questions. Therefore, Miriam, you have a paper there. You can quote. You can see some of the sections. It's not a lie. Is it so? Between Ruto and the Kibicho, Ruto said he's not in the government. Where did he get the information then? He said he was not part of the government. So, if so, Ruto has created what we can call a treasonable offense of creating an intelligence system parallel to the intelligence system of Republic gazetted, designated by the government. Can we now move in as a state? Can the state move in to arrest whoever is running a parallel intelligence system? Can I repeat that very well, Miriam? If you look at the security, the creation of national intelligence system, you will find very clearly, Miriam, that the national intelligence system is created under an act. And for you to be able to create another intelligence system, you must be, first of all, you must be recognized by the government, that's one. You must be allowed by the government. You must operate within the confines of the law. So, what has caused Ruto's panic? What exactly is causing the panic now, Miriam? I have actually put my things and I'm going to put my things very clearly to you. I just want to pause and allow you to speak a bit. Yes.
Just perhaps to take us back to the beginning of this conversation, if this letter that has been written to this office saying that Kibicho is using the national intelligence to campaign for Azimio la Umoja, and yet after Kibicho said that, Ruto himself the next day came out, to refute those claims and give his own percentage. So if Kibicho is using that intelligence to campaign for Azimio, is he not using the same intelligence? I don't know where he got the numbers, but he says it's 8% more. So is he not using the same intelligence? Is he not doing the same thing that he's accusing Kibicho of doing? Because he also said the intelligence puts Kenya Kwanza at 8% ahead of Azimio la Umoja. Is it not, is Kenya Kwanza not doing the same thing they're accusing Kibicho of doing?
Even before we go there, he mischievously, Ruto relies on, and the official Twitter handle of Ruto relies on the Bonoko National Intelligence System of Mitumba.
What is that?
Bonoko.
What is Bonoko?
Bonoko is fake.
Okay.
Bonoko in Swahili is Bonoko.
That is Sheng.
Bonoko.
That is in the language of Wajakoya, I think.
Yes, but Wajakoya has admitted he was a grave digger and Matanga gave him a job. Haven't you read what he has written here now?
Yeah, so Bonoko, all right.
Bonoko. It is a Bonoko bank smoking intelligence system of Mitumba that has delivered intelligence to Ruto. So Ruto relies on, he has formed a parallel intelligence system. I want to speak this so that people can hear. Intelligence network can go for Mitumba and charge him with treason. Wacha mambo ikuwe namna hivyo. We cannot allow this country to go to pieces today when people have committed treasonable act. How do you create an intelligence system saying it is national intelligence Bonoko? And we allow it. We allow the man to go on Twitter and tell the world, the Kenyans, that he has got an intelligence network operating somewhere in a safe house against another intelligence regularized, commanded, equipped, supplied by the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. The DCI should move in. If Mitumba's legs are working at the moment, I don't know where the legs are working, Miriam. Have you seen him of late? Does he walk? I haven't seen Mitumba for almost 3-4 months. If the legs are working, they should walk to court to find, he should be dragged into court to find out how he was able to arrange, organize, recruit, interfere with the intelligence of Kenya by creating a Bonoko. That's where Ruto got his intelligence. Now, if Ruto says Mr. Kibicho has done a wrong, where did he get his intelligence?
If Kibicho is wrong, then he's also wrong, because he also, let me just read a bit of this, Doc, to just bring this into perspective and just to add on what you're saying. The party is calling for investigation by the board to find if Dr. Kibicho's utterances were based on unofficial NIS reports and whether the NIS Director General authorized the report. So if they're calling for this investigation, then they should also be investigated if what they're saying is true and if what they're saying was authorized for them to say. The same way they're claiming. I don't think they can escape responsibility on their part for whatever it is they're calling for action to be taken against Kibicho, because they also gave figures, and DP said these are the official figures from the NIS. So was it authorized? Was he authorized to leak that information out in public? So as we look at this, we also look at what he said.
Miriam, Ruto is preempting what DCI were going to do. He's a very clever craftsman. Don't forget, Ruto is Emperor Nero. Emperor Nero tactics are in Ruto. Ruto goes to Western. Have you seen Ruto comment on the killings in the Rift Valley? Have you heard of late? What does he know about the killings? Those men who are killing people in the Rift Valley, in Elenga Marakwe, whose men are these? You see, Kenyans are not. This guy is taking us to a war. For me, Miriam, I want to tell you, in 1980, we organized an election. And before the election could take place, President Museveni had started telling us, and I'm being honest, His Excellency President Museveni is there, he can say Matanga is wrong. He can reply me on my Twitter, and I can reply him. After all, he reads what I write. I don't have anything I hide. So don't think there is any problem between me and him. No, I have only one problem, my money, which he failed to pay me for the peace talks that I did in Northern Uganda. If he pays me that money, God will take the rest of the time to sort the problems that are there for humanity. But Miriam, look here. President Museveni in 1980, and the security agencies and the officers hear me. Those who did not know that I was working there full time. From 1978, I've worked in Uganda, in the military, near the military, the brass, the top brass of the military. Oito Jok, Basilio Kerr, Smith Okonochak, General Tito Kerr, General Museveni, General Salim Saleh. All of these are friends. And the General Kagame. None of them can tell me he doesn't know me. Some have died. The others are still alive. They can't say they didn't see me. The only thing they will say that I've grown big. But I used to be slender. So I've worked there. I know how they behave. We organized this election. Mwanga, I was working under Mwanga, Paul Mwanga's office, before Obote returned from Busheni. Okay? From Tanzania to Busheni. Miriam, we started hearing this. My votes have been reached. My people have been sent away from the voting areas. From His Excellency the President. Ruto has read the script of President Museveni carefully, you people. Mark my words and be careful. That's what we got. President Museveni told us all, and the people were joking with his statements. He created a party called UPM, Uganda People's Movement, Patriotic Movement. It went around to campaign in an election, but he had given us a signal that this election was not free and fair. The Banyarwandas had been checked out of Uganda, removed from areas, and there was rigging, there was intimidation. He told us. People went on praying. The same statement that Ruto is disseminating now. And you keep on thinking you are running, that tell us, now you are checking. You know, he has spoiled all the institutions. He's coming to go to the institution that has been one of the best, so far, the best in handling our security. There are no more terrorists bombing us because National Intelligence Services has worked so well. Kenya is free of terrorism because these younger men, younger women, old men, old women, they are working day and night to make sure that they piece the intelligence of this nation together so that terrorists don't come and bomb us in our houses and in our mall, in the shopping malls, and in public places. Ruto, now after failing politically, he's now targeting them. He wants to divide them, Miriam. Museveni was telling us, warning us, people did not take his warning. We organized the 1980 elections. Those who were not there, who were not born by then, hear me and criticize me when you know that what I'm telling you is the truth. We organized the 1980 elections. We won by rigging. And I have to admit here, it was not a free and a fair election. On that one, we agree with each other. Obote has gone to the grave. I am here to apologize. So when we meet down there, I will apologize. Mwanga has gone. Okero has gone. I'm the living memory. I was a younger man. I was a youth leader. We rigged those elections. Because we rigged in a format. And let me tell you that we did not touch the area called Buganda. The Buganda area, Miriam, was left intact. They voted DP. We went outside Buganda and voted UPC and other parties. So we got MPs, nationalistic MPs, against one tribe. That was gerrymandered. That was very big gerrymandering. And I apologize on behalf of my party that took place in that election. Then we moved. This guy warned us. Obote takes over power. He kept on warning us that this election was rigged and therefore he needs a repeat of the elections. Obote was not able, Miriam, to bring this election. So here we are as we stand. A war started in 1981. Miriam, up to today. Some of us, from that day, Museveni left. The previous evening, when we told Obote Museveni was leaving, Obote said he was going to look for Museveni and discuss the difficulties with him. Obote has gone to the grave without discussing those difficulties. And Museveni is still the President of the Republic of Uganda today. People did not listen. So, 3 questions. Has Ruto lost his ground in Mount Kenya? The answer is yes. The second question, Miriam, you have a paper there. What does it say?
Is Ruto preparing ground for violence in Kenya by attacking security and intelligence systems?
Yes. What would be your answer?
I think such institutions are very sensitive, and when we keep over politicizing everything, it puts this country at a very precarious position. So I think they should be careful. Ruto should be careful, and any other political leader, they should be very careful.
Not only Ruto, anybody,
yes.
Any other. No, any it's not only Ruto. This institution is not political.
It should not
the military is not political in this country.
Absolutely, and we should.
The
not
police is
politics.
not political. The national intelligence is not political. It should be left out of politics. Don't politicize it. Don't bring Kenyans to a question, a hope. Kenyans must have hope in institutions. But Ruto, after finishing destroying all the institutions of economy, making corruption the bandwagon, the badge for everybody in Kenya in those institutions, he has now moved to the army. He wants to move the police. He wants to move the intelligence. Tomorrow he's going to write to Inspector General of Police to ask how many policemen are UDA supporters.
Yes. To your question, I think it's wrong, and the fact that also Kibicho brought it up, I think is also wrong, because that is what triggered this conversation. It's wrong. So let's keep politics in some institutions in this country. We don't need that case, because if that is tampered with, we will have a problem. And the reason why we're able to have the freedoms and we're able to walk around and do whatever is because we know our security systems are intact, our security systems are not political. That's why as Kenyans we're able to enjoy this, because in the eventuality of anything that requires them to step in, we know they'll do their job, as we saw during the post-election violence. The security forces, the army, the police, they were all there, where Kenyans needed them to be. So we don't need politics in certain institutions, so we should not encourage that. And for Ruto, he also responded politically. So now he's saying these institutions, they're using Kibicho is using this institution to benefit, that information to benefit Azimio la Umoja. But he also said no, that report is wrong, because according to the same report, the same thing that is accusing Kibicho of doing, we are leading by 8%. So you can't accuse Kibicho of being political with such a report, but you're also responding in a very political way. So you're losing you're losing your part on that, because you did the same thing. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Miriam, we have been told the president of Barbados has just arrived in Nairobi for a 6-day official visit.
Oh, the new president. Is he the prime minister or the president of Barbados?
I think it's
the lady. Because it received its independence.
Wait, let me tell you. Barbados changed its status.
Yes.
From the Commonwealth,
it's still
headed by the Queen,
yes, it's still
to
in the Commonwealth.
The Republic.
Yes. Sometimes last year.
She has just arrived in Nairobi.
Okay. That's good news.
For an official visit. 6 days of official visit.
She's come for a holiday, but it's a new country, so they're trying to really make 6 days is a long time, so she will enjoy our country properly. But also, being that they just received their full independence.
Miriam, can I tell you something?
To create some diplomatic ties, yes.
Can I tell you something? Hold the fire. You have never been to Barbados, have you?
No, but I know enough.
You better go there.
I know enough, yes.
I think what she is coming to enjoy here is the cold in Nairobi. She can be, in fact, if I were her, I would not dwell to go to Mombasa Beach, because Barbados is as hot as Sahara Desert.
It is.
Very hot and humid, to the extent that people, then when it is cold, Miriam, it is again very cold. With tropical, tropical forests in some parts. So she's coming probably to dance reggae, and we shall have reggae. Reggae will start.
Yeah.
Yes. We shall dance a bit of reggae. And Miriam, there is one cardinal thing going to happen this month. From there, she will go to the Commonwealth. You are aware the Commonwealth is starting sometime next week, in weeks to come. So she has timed her holiday very well.
It will be
She has timed it. She's going to, she will be in Africa for some good time.
That's good. This is
the Commonwealth. That is where she was born. So I invite her to go to Mombasa and the Kwale and the Malindi to change the weather from the Atlantic Ocean to Indian Ocean. And the breezes.
And maybe Masai Mara. So that's what brings them here a lot. But anyway, I think it's a good start it's a good thing.
I'd avoided Sankok. What has happened to MP Sankok? This is a morning chat, Miriam. What has happened to MP Sankok after losing the son?
Still dealing with grief. Yeah.
The 40 days are not yet over, and
grief has no timeline.
we wish him well to come back and recapture his limelight of going to the television stations. We want him back so that we can show him maybe.
And you know, the investigation report over his son's death, I don't think it's out yet. I'm not sure. Maybe they've been given privately, but we don't know exactly what transpired. But yeah, I'm sure he's still dealing with the aftermath and the grieving period. And yeah, it could be 40 days, could be forever. You know, grief has no really timeline. A loss is a loss. So we wish him well.
As he was still on air, because me, I always bring breaking news, Buhari has said he has no preferred candidate. He has also run away from the whole basis. He's not choosing because all of them are his friends. So he has just disappeared.
So they will fight it out through the primaries.
And you know why he has disappeared? Because he's Mr. Jabril. He's not the real Buhari. So how could he know these people? He can't know them. One Nigerian just sent me a text to say he has disappeared because he's not the real one. So thank you very much. That is one of the point. Second point, Miriam, we are still on this security to finish it and go to another one. We have reasoned on that point number 2, security agencies should not be provoked by anybody politically,
politicized, yes.
Should be left. What is the other reason? The third one, you have the paper there.
Oh, the other question. Is Ruto trying to trigger his plan B of going to bush in Western Kenya? I don't know where in Western Kenya he'll try to do that. And Kapedo Triangle.
Yes. There's a reason why. Okay. And I'm you know, Miriam, I'm candid. I have been in this region for 67 years. I can tell any type of troop movement, sinister and a good faith. I can tell where rebels. I told you here that the rebels in Congo who are sitting in Nairobi trying to find the peace affect Bonoko.
Another one surrendered yesterday, I think the other day.
And as we talk, the chief of defense forces, all of them are in Ngoma. They were meeting. But it's a question that the chief of defense forces, all of them in East Africa, should ask each other, who funds these rebels? Who gives these rebels arms? Before you know, I have liked the Tanzanian style. Tanzania has said, sisi tuwezi kukaa kwa meza moja. And Miriam, believe me or not, sisi tuwezi kukaa kwa meza pamoja na wale wenye wanapatia hawa silaha. Sasa tutazungumza na watu namna gani tena watoke hapa na silaha hizo waende kuua watu. My Swahili is perfect, man, is becoming perfecter. Waende kuua watu tena. Tutaki kukaa kwa meza na wale wafuasi waanze kuambia watu hawa masilaha wanapata wapi. So mchunge sana. The triangle, the Erengoya Marakwet, the Kapedo Triangle, the killings that are taking place in Kapedo Triangle, they have shifted from cattle rustling to targets of human beings and property, schools, cars, ambushes. Is there something wrong? Is someone giving us a signal that if I don't get my way through a ballot, I will do what other people have done? Remember, when Emperor Nero found out that everybody was saying, fire, fire, fire from God, fire from God. Emperor Nero, read about Emperor Nero in India. He's a very good, interesting emperor. He decided to burn Rome. Where is this Mr. Fire? He set the whole Rome thinking he was killing the fire. But what the Christians were saying in those days in the Roman is there is a fire brand up there, a fire which you don't see. Ruto is telling you he has not commented on the Elengwe Marakwet massacres. It is only Murkomen. By the way, who is the senator? Is Murkomen was cleared for senatorship?
I think.
And I have not seen Murkomen. Is he the senator for Elengwe Marakwet? Check out for that production team, my team in the headquarters. Can you check on that?
He was cleared.
Yes, for Marakwet. He left him to talk, but Ruto would have capitalized on who are these people who are killing people now and are not taking the cows, who have left the taking of the animals. They come and kill people and disappear and even leave the animals. Are they the real cattle rustlers? I leave that question to you, Miriam, and Kenyans to answer. For me, I speak my mind. Those 3 reasons have triggered Ruto to write this letter to the NIS in order to drag them into the total madness of hidden madness, of political overdose. Ruto has got a political overdose drug of lust for power. He wants power at all costs. He's threatening everybody on the platform that I am the only one. If you don't give me the votes, I'll come, I'll go here, I'll do this. Na ufikiri mtu anaweza kuiba kura yangu mimi. First he says his voters were transferred. Chebukati says there are no voters transferred. The matter is under his wraps.
No, he said his voters have been removed from the register, not even transferred. It's Chebukati said others were transferred illegally, but him is saying that close to 1 million voters have been removed from the register.
Tomorrow, the register, Miriam, is coming out. By 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or by tonight, before the end of the day, I will send you a copy, which I could get from my sources, from KPMG. And don't ask me that I don't, at my age of 67, I don't have a friend in KPMG in the world. So I'll get it. It's not from the government. I told you they bought 15,000 BVRs. The KPMG has found 16. The 1,000, we don't know whom they belonged. The Auditor General of Kenya said 400 BVRs were stolen. They can't be traced. Offices, some parties in Kenya have opened very powerful offices in some cities in the world. I will not mention particularly where, but these offices are dealing with information and the data that Kenya relies on, because 3/4 of the Kenyan voting system is electronic. Isn't it, Miriam? Mm-hmm. It's electronic.
Actually, maybe, yeah. The voting or the whole process, it's like half.
I am saying 3/4 because the only last process is manual.
No, it's like half. I think a huge chunk of it is still manual, because you have to go, even if you've placed your finger there, but you still have to go to the physical register, check your name. They have to counter check the information for you to go take the ballot papers physically and tick them. And
okay, let's say a half.
You have to count them also physically, and and of course the physical results have been given presidents.
Let's say half. Mm-hmm. Half of the voting in Kenya is electronic. Mm-hmm. But 3/4 of the data is electronic. Have you got me there, or you lost me? Or I lost you?
All data should be both electronic and physical, I believe.
No, data cannot be physical. It has to be electronic.
All data has to be, in the electronic system.
Yes. So, yes, there you are. You have a point there. It has to be in electronic. But now, who handles? If you have an extra 1,000 BVRs, how many people can you generate with the data? I leave it to you to smile, and I smile.
Doc, you confused me. The register, that is data, right? So we shall have it on physical, and then we shall have it kule kwa mtandao, sio?
Hey,
yes.
The data is electronic.
Yes.
It's gathered under the BVR system.
Yes.
Your name is in the BVR. So when you press your finger, you are now in the data system. You no longer come back manual.
No, we'll still go manual after even when you go voting.
But the data does not come back.
No.
After you have been seen there, they come back to say, okay, your ID matches with what is in the data.
Yeah.
But do you have control to that data which is already in there? You don't see
it. It can be manipulated. That's
that. Thank you very much. That's the word I was waiting for.
Okay.
My dear sister, the data could be utilized. And anybody hovering around your wave or your server or your wall, and this system we are using, this one, the one in front of you, I've got walls. There are several
firewalls.
Firewalls. If they are not strong, the vote that you have put there physically is the only thing that can save you.
Yeah, so maybe that's why Chebukati wanted that part of the law to be rectified, saying that in case there's
so
a
people have refused. So when you turn back,
the physical has to take precedence.
When you turn back, my dear sister, when you turn back and you want to count the vote, but we have been told that the vote should show on the screen. But when you see the vote on the screen, Miriam, you haven't seen the vote in the ballot itself. Your vote could be in the screen, but no, your vote could be in the ballot, physical one, but it is not on the screen.
They count them and write them down, right? So if it does not reflect, then that's a problem.
No, it can be exaggerated.
Yeah,
it's vote.
Yeah, manipulation.
Yes, it can be exaggerated. So the BVRs are the most dangerous equipment that you have in this election. That if you have to tamper with them, that is where we have to begin. And it depends on which company you are also hiring. There are two elements in an election. One is the vote, where you have printed it from. That's why some people have gone to court to find out who is this smart something. The company is called Smart. Which has printed
Smartic something.
Yes, which has printed your papers. A millionaire, multimillionaire like a Ruto can print the whole Kenyan papers. And fly them in as cargo. Have you seen that? So after today, tomorrow, Chebukati, Miriam, after tomorrow, you'll have to go back to your number they gave you to check again whether your name is there.
Okay, I will do that.
And even checking your name, it is costing you money.
Which a lot of Kenyans don't understand, because I think we're
They
funded
don't.
IEBC.
Yes.
Why should we also now be, charged for checking our names in the register? It does not make sense. With all that money that IEBC has been given, it should be free.
And remember, you and I, we cautioned here. Why should an election be very expensive? 50. Bring me to the next. We are finished now, that one. Let's come to the next. The 4 presidential candidates and the contention. Contestants, yes. I think, I don't know how you had arranged that side, but one of the stories is that one.
Yes, we can look at that. Let me see. It has been outlined on page, I think, 8 on the Standard. Let me just get it so that we get a background story about what this might mean. And of course, a lot of confusion. IEBC, is really giving Kenyans some worry. You clear somebody, a day later, you coming back, you realizing they don't even have the papers, but you already cleared them. So this background check and this, it does not even make a lot of sense. So the clearance by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, of 4 candidates for the August 9th presidential race marked the end of a lengthy preliminary winnowing process to identify President Uhuru Kenyatta's successor. Out of the initial 57 candidates that sought to take up the presidential baton, only 4 got the nod from the electoral agency, setting the stage for a grueling race, a battle for the minds and souls of more than 22 million voters through wheat and tact. The ultimate cast is varied. There is a one-time spy cum lawyer turned marijuana advocate. The man made a name for allegedly trying to topple a government and has had numerous canon moments. That should be Raila. He is a greenhorn who has been in and out of government for 20 years but has never contested for presidency. He is a lawyer doubling up as a cleric. He has unsuccessfully contested to be member of parliament and now wants to be the 5th president. So they're just trying to characterize these presidential candidates, but that is what we have, from 57 hopefuls to now 4 that will be on the ballot.
So that will be in the ballot. What you call it? Ha! There is, Miriam, there is one thing that I don't like, the way people describe other people, like they are the mothers who produce them. Miriam, yesterday, I was looking through my books. And by the way, you have missed something very strange. And I'm coming there. I'll come by tomorrow and I'll show you. I got pictures of 1950. Listen to me, my sister. Pictures of 1955. The paper, I had been looking for those papers because my mom gave them to one of my sons to bring it to me. They were our pictures in the house. So I've been looking for those pictures of 1955. The photograph paper of those days. Still, if you look at it, even when I showed some people, they say, strong paper, it is still there. You can see my picture when I was only 6 months old. And then see my picture when I was 1982 in elections, in the president's office. So what a picture, what a change. So I was looking at those pictures. I will come with them, reminding me to come, but don't laugh at me. I was a big baby. So this bigness has followed me. I was born, I told you sometime, and you laughed. You were a mother. I said I was born for 8 pounds. A big bubbly baby, bouncing baby of 8 pounds. Even the people in the dispensary where I was born is called Uchigai Dispensary. And my medical assistant was called Mr. Matanda. My mother has told me everything. My bishop was called, my pastor reverend was called Reverend Wakalanga, the one who baptized me. You know me and the one Wabukala, we are cousins. And the Wabukala has never said he's not part of me. But they came here, the father came here in 1889, 1902, 3. But we are cousins. So, when you describe Wachikoya, you can ask him, from digging the grave in Camden, where else did he go? He will not hesitate to say, I did not go and work for Matanga as a bouncer. You can call him Bangi, you can call him anything, but the guy is a real band. He tells the people off. And he says in one of his campaign final rallies, he will say that without Matanga pulling me out of Camden grave digging exercise, he would be nowhere.
Is it an exercise or a job? It's a job.
Job is a very bad abomination in African culture. But grave digging, Miriam, grave digging in London, you must have a master's degree in science. You get my point? A master's degree in science. Because you can dig a grave bigger or smaller for the next coming. You know, Bazungu have no next. You reach an age of 60 like me now in London. The letters that have been coming in the doorstep, that when are you preparing? You prepare. Miriam, here when we talk about death, someone can even get annoyed with you. That's why the next subject we are coming to before we close is the truth. My sister, the truth. Africa fears the truth. And if you want to die faster, come to Africa and start talking the truth. They will assassinate you. But if you want to live longer, go to Britain and talk the truth. Go to Europe, talk the truth. Go to America and stand up. In Britain, I go to 10 Downing Street with my identity card as a journalist and I put up a hand and I say, then the Prime Minister said, oh, my friend, Dr. Matanga, which question now today? They point at you and you say your mind. And you tell the Prime Minister that in some Prime Minister what you have spoken is rubbish. Can you tell an African president like that? If they don't take you when you are rolling on the head, they will even take you when you know they don't carry you nicely. You can't go to a press conference where President Museveni is saying, these are silly statements. Listen first, silly statement. Only in English being a silly statement is nothing wrong. But in Africa, silly statement takes you to a firing squad. That's why you see people misunderstanding Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga said, Mitumba is not very good for us. And for me, Deputy Matanga, I came up to write, and I will write And I'm going to bring another analysis. Because I've been in there. I've been in those countries where bed sheets. In Britain, hospital bed sheets are not washed. Look at me, Miriam. They are not washed twice. We don't take them to the dry cleaner. We don't take them to the dry cleaner. They take them kushaga na machine ya kushaga. To burn them, crush them. In Britain, a car, a Range Rover that has got an accident. Do you know where it is taken? Salvage. It's not taken to Macau's car park, garage, or Otieno. I had a mechanic called Otieno garage in Nairobi West. He's there, he's still there. Anakuambia, we can buy this part or panel bid. No. Do you know what they do, Miriam? In Britain, when bed sheets, when clothes, when you go to King's Hospital, they give you a night dress. Hello? A night dress. You remove all your things you have. And tuambiane ukweli, watu wa Afrika waanze kujua ya haki. Raila was right. And he's right. You can condemn him, but he's not going to die because of the faults. He will die because he has spoken the truth. He can change. That's okay. Election is not a matter of death. But Raila is warning us of several diseases. So what has happened in Africa, in London, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, there's another country, Bangkok, where is Thailand. You know, most of the women's clothes now, at the moment, come from Thailand, Miriam. Thailand, Bangkok. Go to Kenya Airways. Go to air freight. Go here. Go to the ships. Enda kwa ship. Enda Mombasa. There are some clothes that are from the factory. That if the sewing machine does not sew properly, that one, there are some. These Mitumba are sold in grades. Mitumba 1 grade, Mitumba 2 grade, Mitumba 3, and then there is the Rio cream. Some of the clothes that either the button was not done properly, Marks and Spencer will not buy your clothes. They will throw it away. And then these people collect. Now, in London, what our brothers are doing, some of them do, most Africans do, they work with the people inside the hospitals. Give me the bed sheets. A contaminated disease. You bring that bed sheet, you haven't even infected it. You haven't even
disinfected.
Disinfected. Put in the dawa, unachukua kwa washing machine, unaambia hao watu ya dryer. You know, in London there are commercial places where they wash clothes. People are very lazy. Some who cannot manage to buy a washing machines in their houses, they throw them there. So you mix it up, they iron for you, you pack them in bales, you send them to Africa. Well needed, but the disease, whichever killed the person in that hospital does not live. It is within there. You bring it to Africa, you start spreading it on your bed. After about a few weeks, you start start coughing. These things are there. Raila did not make any mistake. The people of Ruto who are now walking around changing the messaging are also wrong, because they are telling people, give us the vote and die tomorrow. We don't care about you. Raila is a father, that's why he cares about the people's health. Ache tuambiane ukweli. Anawaambia nyenye, why don't you use cloth from 90? I grew up in Uganda. We used to buy good cotton, cloth. Look at the cotton we have today. Look at the cotton. This is a cotton, pure cotton. There is plenty of cotton in Nigeria. There's plenty of cotton of kitenge in Tanzania.
Even
People
here,
are going to that.
even here, if we can, if what I think Raila was saying, if we can revive our textile industry, then
Exactly.
it can be a reality where we can have
And subsidize it.
that are affordable.
Revive it, subsidize it. Miriam, it will produce cheaper clothes, shirts for people.
Yeah.
Other than people going
And
to
create
carry
employment and this thing of manufacturing. It should not just be good on paper. A textile industry, and I think it's one of the key things under manufacturing that President Uhuru Kenyatta was seeking to revive and make this industry vibrant. And this is just one of the ways we have to do it. So this thing we keep saying, we buy Kenya, we build Kenya. I don't know when we are expecting to do this. And of course, we can't face out Mitumba right now, but there should be a plan to do it gradually, even as you revive, the textile industry. And, there are a lot of these international brands that have their clothes made here, H&M, Tommy Hilfiger, Victoria's Secrets, and others. I was just reading another article, and it was a host of very respected brands who have their clothes manufactured here in Kenya. They're shipped to the US and other places, and then after they've worn them and they're done, then they're brought back for us to buy them as second hand. So it can be made here, without the branding. It can be made here, and it can be a reality. So I think there has to be policies in place, and this is something that has to be done gradually. But at the end of the day, I think it's doable. We've seen Ethiopia do it. We've seen Rwanda do it. It's just a will, and then we remove politics out of it. And the more we revive these industries, then the more affordable these clothes will be. I don't know. Nobody goes to celebrate. I wear Mitumba, so it's a good thing. I think everybody aspires to do better and maybe one day afford a nice dress or a nice shirt from the shop. But right now, perhaps the prices are up there. But if we work on reviving our textile industry and we make this affordable, everybody will be happy to wear a good piece of clothes from the shop. Even they can be hawked around, and we see them hawking around new clothes, vests from China and things like that. So it's doable.
Miriam, you are right. Sorry. I am, as you talk, something has clicked in my mind. And imagine the Mitumba and Bangi. What should worry Kenyans more? Both?
What a comparison. I don't know what to make. Mitumba and
No,
Bangi.
honestly, Mitumba and Bangi.
Yeah.
What are the products? Both of them are very dangerous. But one person, because people they want to hate Raila. They want to get votes. They have singled on Mitumba. But Bangi is equally very deadly. By law of Kenya, you are not supposed to see I am a Bangi smoker. How are you going to vote and go around and say I'm a Bangi smoker? The police will actually arrest you and check your pockets. If they find 1 grain of Bangi, they will arrest you and charge you with possession of a Bangi. It's a crime. So why are we not concentrating on normalizing? Is it the commercial banking, which is going to be sold for medicine, or the smoking bangi that is going to kill people? A man with bangi can have a rifle and kill you. Because then he say, oh, I'm sorry. Dead.
Do you know cigarette smoking is more harmful than bang?
Than
Bang.
the bangi.
Yeah, cigarette smoking is more harmful to your health than marijuana. But I think marijuana, the problem, the part where it is a problem is the way it messes up with your mind. But the rest, it's much safer compared to the cigarette.
Yeah, I don't smoke.
In terms of the effect it has on your lungs and all that, cigarette is very dangerous. But bangi messes up with your mind. I think, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, bangi messes up the mind.
Yeah.
But bangi also equally has an element of medicine.
Yeah. When properly.
In Luoland, in Nyanza, all the lower places, the bangi is used as medicine in those old days. So the voters of Mr. Wajakoya are well known.
He will get a good amount of votes.
I am telling you,
He will.
Wajakoya will run number 3. And if Ruto is not careful, Wajakoya could over popularly.
And to top it up, the weekend starts on Thursday. I mean, what's better than that, according to Wajakoya?
And he says the week he will shorten the whole of Kenya. Work for only 4 days.
Starts on Thursday.
And leave 1 day for community work.
Yeah.
And ride the bicycle.
And I've been looking at his campaigns. It's one of those campaigns that everybody is just happy. I don't think his agenda is heavy, so it's just very light. So after that guy, people are just dancing and making merry. So it's very interesting. I think it's interesting.
Miriam, before we end, let's look at the debt crisis, sale and debt ceiling that has been raised to 10 trillion to borrow. Before I do a takeaway.
All right, so I see the story is on page 11 on the scandal. Let me just read a bit of it. The National Assembly yesterday agreed to raise the debt ceiling to 10 trillion Kenya shillings in what is aimed at giving the National Treasury headroom to borrow more. With the current debt ceiling at 9 trillion Kenya shillings, it means the country is 600 billion Kenya shillings shy of breaching the limit, with official data from Central Bank of Kenya showing the country's public debt stood at 8.4 trillion Kenya shillings by end of March. The proposal by the National Treasury to push up the debt ceiling was, however, opposed by lawmakers allied to Deputy President William Ruto, who left the changes only who felt the changes only aggravate the country's debt situation.
Any person at the moment, I just want to tell you that within 2 weeks, petrol in the United Kingdom will be £2 per litre. How much is that in Kenya? Calculate for me. At the rate of 150 and 60 per pound. How much?
Come up again.
The rate of a liter, 1 litre of unleaded fuel in the United Kingdom will cost, starting from next week on Monday, will cost £2. And each pound is £1 to Kenya shilling is 160. So how much is that?
So that will be around 320 or something.
150 times 160.
Have you said what, 160?
160 times 2,
Yes,
yeah, 320.
yes.
320 shillings
Per liter.
per liter.
Okay.
Yeah, how much is yours here?
It's 150.
What is it 150 or coming to 2 shillings?
150.
150
Yeah.
per liter. So you just can we talk further than that? Yes. 320. People in London are being told next Monday the pump is 320.
Because the global prices went up last week.
Yes, the global, it is everywhere. That's the point I'm trying to make. It is not Ruto. It is not, you don't come to oppose everything for the sake of opposing to please Ruto. Ruto is a small, daft guy with a PhD degree from Nairobi University. Forget about it. There are international factors that you cannot challenge. You can't challenge that there is a war. The war is in Ukraine, and that war has stopped ships coming, crossing, because everybody is testing the missiles. Medium, everybody. You know, America has taken there one of the latest missiles. And they have told the Ukrainians, don't try to strike one in Russia. Are you with me? If you strike one falls in Russia, and Russia is watching, you know, the missiles that America has sent, you'll watch my article, my dear sister, I'm sending you an article which I have written today, why Africa is caught in a crossfire. I write, and I'm telling you, I'm predicting the truth. Why is it caught in a crossfire? Niambie, why? Britain is costly. The British, if it is 320, we are going for the Commonwealth Games. Don't forget, people are now preparing to go for the Commonwealth Games in Edinburgh, in Birmingham. Tunaenda huko. The whole of Black Africa is going to be there. Kenya will be shining again. And it is summer there. People are going for the games. But the people will use train. Their cars will be left home. Why? No British can afford. Very few of us. Some of us who come with some little money, and you have a medium, you show off. But the ordinary mzungu, hiyo gari anatafuta wema wema wema, what is wema called? Umbrella. Cover it.
The cover.
Lock it, ingiza kwa garage, and fix the bicycle. Because there's mud, but the mud is not on the road. You can drive, you can ride up to Central London. If you're a good rider, but not a bad rider, like I'm a good rider, but I can't ride on the roads up to Central London. From my home to Central London, it's very far. I think I will come back broken to 6 pieces. I would have to call my small daughter to come and pick me somewhere on the road. So if the people in Africa must prepare, this is the time for us to give the government support to prepare for these things that are coming. In the months that are coming, if we are not careful, everything, even that bread that you send people to the shops, is not going to be present. If this war escalates, if we don't find a solution to normalization of relationship, Russia has said, if you want to buy my oil, you pay me in rupees.
Rubles.
Sorry, rupees are for
the gas station, the petrol station.
No, there are rubies.
There's a stone,
rubies.
yeah, it's a gem called rubies, yes.
It's a ruby. You pay us in robots. Is it robots? Robots.
Yeah,
Tell me again, I'll not miss it again.
you're right.
Robots, yes. So the Americans are saying, you know, as far as the stock exchange is concerned, you are not on international stock exchange. Russia said, we have our own stock exchange. We also have stock exchange markets. So pay us in rupees, robots, and we give you the oil you want. Soon, if you could go, Miriam, if you go to Mombasa now, there's hardly a hotel that you can find accommodation. Because people have even booked until September, October. Why? The gas has been increased. If you increase the fuel from next week, diesel will go up. Gas used is now, Britain has got to reverse itself to the reserves. The good thing is that their reserves can last like 10 years. While now it has option. Do we go face to face with Russia? If we go face to face with Russia, we spark a world war. No. So we have decided to clandestinely support Ukraine. So this rising of the MPs, rising the debt ceiling to 10 trillion, they are very wise people. Those who are opposing are the most stupid people that you should not elect in the Parliament of Kenya. The president coming in power here next September, if the swearing in is done next month, next 3 months, he will need to start at a place where he has to plan his budget very carefully so that he doesn't sink Kenya into a recession, a crisis. It's not only Kenya, it's across Africa. Everybody is planning that way. So I am happy with the amount of 10 trillion ceiling. Let it remain there to cushion subsidies for fuel so that you don't buy fuel at 4 pounds. If it is 2 pounds today, by the end of next year, June, the fuel will be 3 pounds. If the war continues without dialogue, without sitting down, without allowing a dollar to be used to exchange. You can see, Miriam, that is the life motto which we have. That's the life that we Africans are facing. That's the life that every African country is going to face. So for Ruto to tell people that, oh, this and that is diversionary. In summary, that is what I have. Can I now, if you permit me, can I do a takeaway?
Okay.
Do you have anything else to say?
No.
Eh?
No.
Anything that we must have not captured is under our style. Is that okay? If we have not captured anything, let's capture it now and have before I make a takeaway.
I think
perhaps
we have the
have.
major stories.
We only forgot the Sonko drama.
Yeah.
You think somebody has set Sonko for a failure?
Who is that somebody? You mean Kalonzo?
Not Kalonzo. I don't think
that's
Kalonzo, but There's someone, surely, doesn't he have, okay, the court cleared. You know, it depends also if you see the law not acting in him. The court said until his case is done, just as Waluke. That's it. Waititu has never gone to the Supreme Court to challenge his impeachment.
But I think on that one, Chebukati was very clear. His case is different. He was impeached. So if you have been impeached, until that has been overturned, you remain impeached. And he cited Chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution, which I think he picks very, when he feels it is suitable for him to pick. But that is what he said. So despite of what court ruled, I think he still remains impeached.
No. What about Waluke was sentenced?
That's different. Waluke was sentenced, convicted, but this is an impeachment. He was removed from office.
Last week, was it last week or this week? I asked you.
No, Waluke shouldn't be there. He's convicted. He's still a convict. So that has not been changed. He's still a convict. He has appealed, but he's still a convict. He should be somewhere in committee serving his term, but he appealed.
What about Sonko?
Sonko was impeached. So I don't know the difference between impeachment and convicted, because to me they are all violations of the law, and you violated, you've been found guilty. So you shouldn't. But what Chebukati said with Sonko, the impeachment is sort of a finality. It's final, so it can't be. So what does he want to overturn that? To come back and be the Nairobi governor, or what is he appealing for? Because I think he went through all that process in the court. Remember, all that drama in the court, and the courts, sustained all this. So I think for him,
what about if the Supreme Court?
He went through all those legal processes, did he not?
No, but there is a case in the Supreme Court.
For Sonko?
Yes.
On the same?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's arguing that he had appeals pending in courts and so should be allowed. But those appeals, are they not on corruption? Because we know he does have cases on corruption and others in the Kenyan court. So is he referring to that? Because if it's the impeachment...
Don't you think the court of Kenya has got a lot of lacunas?
I think it's how they're applying the law. It's very confusing. Very, very confusing.
Because even the impeachment, what the senators did not recommend, they never recommended that you should not go back to work at all. But I think we should add some powers on the impeachment process. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. But according to leadership and integrity, if we were really, really basing our argument on that, as Chebukati cited on Sonko's case, then once you've been impeached, you're not suitable to hold any public office ever. That is what the law says. But this how they interpret this Chapter 6 that is confusing, both IEBC and the courts and the EACC. It's confusing, Doc. So
what does that bring us to? It brings us to very terrible elections. And it brings us to
your submission.
To a submission of very dangerous, that they will be quite, now the other contestants for presidential elections have teamed up and they are going. So what has worried me is that they are targeting only Raila Amolo Odinga, and they are not targeting...
Yeah, especially Ekuru Aukot. You were supposed to get the signatures. You got the 1 million signatures for Punguza Muzigo. 48,000 would be nothing. What was such a big deal about that? If you were able to get that, that was the requirement by the law. But he's saying that is not a requirement by the law. And then Kagame is saying he's being discriminated because he's a disabled person. Come on now, don't push that card. If you did not meet the threshold, you did not meet the threshold. So, but it's within their democratic right to go to the court and challenge that. So, yeah, they're going. Led by Wanjigi. I think he has gotten a new lease of life. He seems to be the star in that team. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's money. He's led by...
Yeah.
He has got the money and he's led ill-gotten money. and he's got the very powerful legal Luo man who is trying to say he has the law, and another lady called Onyer. Is it Linda? What is her name?
I've forgotten her name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Who is doing her public relations, and because she comes to TV, speaks like she's in her house at where she lives, and trashes everybody, trashes Raila. Yesterday, there's a comment I made, and she came back. I saw that we are going to pull in different directions. I withdrew my comment on the newspaper. She comes because she's paid by Wanjigi and Ruto to come and spoil the name of Raila Odinga. Because I told her, go and start mending fences with Raila Odinga will be the president.
And also remember Kangata, we were talking about him yesterday. Apparently his running mate, the IEBC had said she had not resigned by this, by the 9th of February, but Kangata came yesterday with the evidence that she had resigned indeed on the 7th of February. So it cast a lot of spotlight on even this process of clearing these candidates. These are grounds that the other people might use to question the credibility and the integrity of this process and how the IEBC has carried it out. Because you can't look at Nyambane, the comedian, the same thing. He was cleared, and then we discover he does not have the papers that was revoked. Now, this person was not cleared because IEBC said she did not resign in good time, and then they come back with the evidence. Apparently, she resigned 2 days to the deadline. So, what is happening at the IEBC?
That's what we want to know next time, tomorrow morning. But for now, let's do a takeaway. What is happening at the IEBC that we don't know? Tomorrow, IEBC releases the list of voters. Are you on the voters register?
I better be. I checked. I physically checked, and I sent that SMS. So I hope I am still there.
I need it tomorrow morning. Check.
I better be, because I take that civil duty. That is my civic duty. I take it very seriously.
The name might have carried in the Seychelles.
Oh, goodness gracious. I hope not, because I take the voting, because that's where my voice is heard. So I take that very seriously. So they better not have messed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Fellow Africans, security and security agencies play a vital role in safeguarding the interests of our people and the nations all over Africa. Security agencies are vital to the governance systems that exist on the continent of Africa. Security agencies also act to prevent crime, to prevent terrorism, to prevent money laundering, to prevent human trafficking, and many other, and gather intelligence news, gather intelligence information that is used in the day-to-day governance of any state. The deputy president or the running mate of UDA, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, having destroyed the moral fabric of most Kenyans by poisoning the minds of the younger youth, the younger generation, poisoning the minds of the farmers, poisoning the minds of Mama Mboga, Boda and others, poisoning the minds of the economies of these counties in Kenya, in all regions. For the last 4 years, preaching hatred, preaching divisions, preaching the question of hustler versus dynasty, has now been left with no other option but to embark on another mission to divide the security agencies of the country called Kenya. His letter, written purportedly to the Director of Intelligence of Kenya, smacks a lot of ignorance, shows a lot of ignorance shows a lot of inept. It has no figment of truth at all. It should not query for public political baraza, gallery. It is written to the public gallery, not a matter that could be written to the newspapers, but a matter to be written silently, asked silently. But what aim does he have to dismember a country? What does he have behind his mind when he's writing and doing all these things, attacking security agencies that have kept Kenya off the hook of international terrorism, of which he himself has played a part in bringing terrorists like Harun Ayadin into our midst, calling them new fruit farmers who had come to invest in Africa? What role has he played to bring arms deals, shady arms deals being done in his offices by his wrong people, associates, where we have lost brilliant young men in cold blood? What comes to your mind when you hear of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who can bring mafia people to come and discuss problems in his office of mafiadom, mercenaries, selling arms to overthrow governments? To overthrow a government? Which government were they going to overthrow? What comes to your mind when you see pictures of money launderers in Dubai, together with a deputy president seeking presidential credentials for this nation? Are you a voter in Kenya, therefore? When you look at all these things, the type of person, the destruction, the change of mood, the diversionary tactics used by Ruto to dismember this state, while he's planning his plan B of not conceding the outcome of the elections, is the main fulcrum of the entire letter to the NIS. Ruto has not only attacked NIS, Ruto has attacked DCI, Ruto has attacked asset recovery agencies, Ruto has attacked DPP offices, Ruto has attacked the courts, Ruto has attacked the IEBC. Is this not the man who has now lost the numbers on the ground? Is it not the numbers that he thought he had that are making him go crazy? Is he not the man who is politically overdosed by amnesia of becoming a president of the Republic, which is becoming a mirage day by day? I therefore ask Kenyans who can reason, who can think, who can look at the candidates, ask the candidates also not to drag, whichever way you are, the security agencies that are keeping our security, whether you're a foreigner, whether you're a tourist, whether you're a investor, we want them to be neutral, to look after our security, instead of them being forced to become partisan in issues, dragging national matters into the security matters, into the public of enemies. Remember, we still have Al-Shabaab as enemy number one on the African continent. And we have not forgotten, we still have skirmishes of unknown enemies in the Capedo Triangle, Siguta Valley, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Western Kenya, in parts of Turkana and other places. Let's guard our interests as East Africans and Kenyans. We should not drag the security agencies into political issues. I therefore submit, fellow Africans. That is my take today.
All right, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.